going live again, so this way we can record it.
Noted.
Yeah, okay. In the album American Idiot by Green Day, they criticized George Bush intensely. Maybe I'm just misinformed on the punk scene, but why did that go away? Why did they stop criticizing the highest authority, whether it be President Barack Obama or, I guess, George W. Bush?
Well, from what I've realized, I feel like the punk scene is more liberal than conservative. So it is hard to say that they would go against Barack Obama's political views. I think just because scrutinizing George Bush in that time was a very very popular opinion and very shared feeling towards the American public. I think that's why it hit so well. And then plus it was coming from such a powerful band in the punk scene. That's why it really stayed and had the staying power. It's hard to find a band today that would one risk that scrutiny of scrutinizing a president. So you're obviously not going to have the staying power of a large band doing coming out against President Barack Obama. But also if also I feel like most of the punk scene does leans on the liberal side, so it is hard for them to be like, well, he's doing this and this wrong. I mean, there might be conservative bands out there who are saying, our country's going down the right path, a wrong path, and this is why Barack Obama is the main lead head for this. So I think it's hard. Mainly, I think it didn't really go away, and I think the feeling shared. And I think if the United States presidential election goes towards Donald Trump, then I do think we might see the bunch of punks come back out in full force against Donald Trump, because I think most of the main bands do lean on a liberal side, and they do have strong feelings against Donald Trump's vision of lesser immigration, and truly he is kind of a bigot when it comes to social justice for both women, immigrants, and the LGBT community. So we might see that come back out in full force. But I think just because people do not entirely disagree, I think people of power do not disagree with Barack Obama, and that's why it's really went away.
So Joey Ramone was diagnosed with a mental illness. How do you think that impacted his his music career, his singing career?
Well, I mean, the Ramones really were not pushing out a lot of music when he was really diagnosed with that. I think their last album might have been, I want to say, I think their last album was about 7 years prior to his leukemia. So I think it was mainly
no. Mental illness. Mental.
What mental illness did he have?
Well, I'm going through this quiz site, and he had like one of these 5 things: schizophrenia, OCD, anxiety.
I think he just had anxiety.
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
Well, click and try to find the answer.
No, I click through it. It doesn't tell me the right answer until I get to the end.
Keep going.
There are 25 questions. Which one of these bands is not part of the queercore genre? Limp Wrist, the Butchies, Sister George, the Queers, or Pansy Division?
I'm sorry, what was that, Ben?
Which one of these bands is not part of the queercore genre? Limp Wrist, the Butchies, Sister George, the Queers, or the Pansy Division?
The first one.
Okay, I don't know. I'll probably divide this up and we'll get like 5 minutes out of it.
All right.
What do you think about the EPITAPH record label?
Oh, Epitaph?
Yeah, what do you think about that?
What about
And do you like it?
Yeah, I mean, Epitaph puts out good, decent artists. I mean, they're just a record company. I mean, I think the people doing the best work aren't really under Epitaph, but Epitaph was really big in the 90s. I mean, they were founded in 1980, and they put out most of the huge punk bands in that era. I mean, right now they currently do have Alkaline Trio under their label. They have a great band that's fronted by Connor Oberst of Bright Eyes. That he has a punk band called Desperacidos. They're fantastic. They have Bad Religion, who's a classic punk band. They have Propagandhi, who's a classic punk band. They have Pennywise. They have Off With Your Heads. They have Social Distortion. I mean, they have a ton of bands here. They even have this band, the Menzingers, under their label. But also, if you look at what they had prior to that and before, most of these bands did go off to other labels. I mean, they had Bad Religion, they had Rancid, they had Bring Me to the Horizon, they had The Offspring. I mean, they had a lot of big bands. They even had Green Day. So I think it was mainly, it was just another one. It was just a fantastic record company that did put out great music at the time and really saw a sight for these bands.
So Bono, you know Bono.
I do know Bono.
Yes.
Me and Bono are tight.
Okay.
Like me and Papa John.
At the end of this question, can we get some Papa John songs?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So Bono said that U2 surprised. Remember that album they came out with where they gave it to all of us without any of our consent?
Yeah, experiences of youth or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. What about?
So he called that a punk rock album, because the goal of punk rock is to annoy people and get in their faces. Do you think this is just a bad way of him trying to make up for, I guess, the PR nightmare that was, or do you think he has a legit argument there?
Well, I am also a big U2 fan. I think they're my second favorite band behind Bruce Springsteen. And Songs of Innocence was mainly punk influenced. There's a song about Joey Ramone on there. And they've recently they put out songs about Joey Ramone prior to that. So I mean, there was a lot of punk influences on that record. And since it was about their youth and about their innocent period, that's when they were listening to most of their punk music. That's when they were really developing themselves, and punk music was a big inspiration to them. I think Bono was really just saying that as a statement. I don't think it's really a statement to get over 20 million or whatever ridiculous amount of money they got paid by Apple to push that out to everyone. That's not really punk rock right there. It's more of screw the establishment, we'll just give it to you for free, but without getting a ton of money from it. I think that would have been more punk rock. I think Bono was just saying more. It had a lot of punk rock influences on it. If you listen to it, it sounds nothing like punk. The messages do have some punk leaning themes, but I think he meant it more in it was influenced by punk, and the idea of pushing out to mass media and not generating album sales is punk rock, but also I think it was still played on commercial radio, and it was still, I mean, they still made a ton of money off Apple by getting the exclusive rights from there. So I agree in some sense that it's a punk record because it's influenced by punk, but I disagree because it doesn't sound like punk, and they still made way too much money off of that. I mean, U2 is a commercial band, and I'm not saying it's wrong for them to make money, but I'm just saying, if you look at punk, there's not a lot of rich millionaires who are punk artists.
So last question, and then we'll go. So a lot of punk seems to be based around the fact that you don't conform with society or people don't understand you. Is conforming with society necessarily a bad thing? Is that necessarily a bad thing?
No, conforming to a society is not a bad thing. I mean, it's really just playing politics. If you want to really get anywhere to a financial or to a monetary gain, most people get there because they played the politics. They knew someone, or they kissed some butt along the way. I think the main thing is that not really conforming to society is bad, but being a sellout is bad. Being someone who you're not is bad. And really the whole punk movement is to be yourself, and people who conform to society or people who I'm interviewing stop me.
Oh, I meant to send that to Jeffrey. My bad.
Oh.
All right, go back on. I apologize. I texted the wrong person.
But yeah, no, I think it's more of, punk bands do not want to see someone selling out, or they do not want to see someone who they're not. They want to see people who are true people, and they want the essence of you through their music, and they don't want to feel like they're getting some bought or corporate thing. They want someone who didn't conform to society, because that is not real. that's not the true person. There's something behind them, where true punk music is fueled by experience. It's fueled by feeling. It's fueled by the feeling of being away from society. Conforming to society it's really your call. I mean, it doesn't matter. And if someone did conform to society in a punk scene, then they might be outcasted. But that's because it's kind of hypocritical, because you're outcasting someone who wants to be an outcast, but someone who is joining the incast. I mean, it's hard to say if conforming to society is bad. But from a punk standpoint, it is, just because it's all about not conforming to society, because society will not include you.
All right, that was great. Hold on. So we never did an intro, so we have to do that really quick, and then I want Papa John songs. All right. So Sean, what's your title at WXAV? Just actually give yourself an intro, because we're actually cutting out everything I'm saying, and it'll just be Sean's little short tidbits on punk rock.
I'm Sean Anderson, the music director at WXAV 88.3 FM Chicago. We are on the campus of St. Xavier University, and I am Ben's cousin, and he forced me to do this.
Okay, all right, so let's redo that.
What?
All right, you know what, that works. Fine, whatever.
Great, no, I'll redo it.
Okay.
I'm Sean Anderson. I'm the music director at WXAV 88.3 FM Chicago. We are on the campus of St. Xavier University, and is that good enough for you, Ben?
Yeah, the first one was fine. So I want some Papa John songs. Let's hear some Papa John songs.
I don't have them.
Yes, you do.
I don't write them out. It's all free flowing, dude.
Okay. All right. Better question. So I was telling my friends about the Snapchat you had, where one morning you were at a stoplight and you pull up your phone and you go, "Mornings, am I right, Chief?" And then the person next to you flipped you off. Or you said at one point someone flipped you off for saying, "Mornings, am I right, Chief?" in one of your Snapchats. Do you have that saved?
No, I do not.
Oh, okay.
I want some Snapchats. They're gone in a blink of an eye. They're gone in 6 seconds, Ben. That's the beauty of them.
So no Papa John songs?
No Papa John songs. I don't have it.
What if Lenora leaves the room? Can we get Papa John songs?
No, I don't. I just don't have the energy. You'll get more when I'm driving.
All right.
Fired.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Thank you so much, Sean. I owe you my life.
Yes, you do, Ben.
And Tim Johnson, he is a huge fan of you. He loves you.
I love
he loves you. It's ridiculous. So, all righty. Well, thank you so much, Shawnee.
Bye, Benny.
Send Maddie my best.
Will do. Love you, dude.
Love you too. Bye.